Battled Through the Heavens, Chapter 215. The Success or Failure of a Fateful Evolution. Xiao Yan's fingers dig into the damp earth, his lungs burning as he forces his frantic pulse into a rigid, painful silence. The humid weight of the thicket snaps under a piercing shriek that turns the air brittle and fractures his composure. Above, charred scales peel from a thrashing purple shadow, spilling blood that hisses and vanishes into the green glare.
Hearing Queen Medusa's shrill, miserable scream coming from within the heavenly flame, Xiao Yan's entire body immediately shuddered. His gaze pierced through the bamboo forest covering his view, looking up at the cluster of green flames in midair. Inside, a massive purple snake body was tossing and turning wildly. Xiao Yan could clearly see the snake scales on the purple snake's body, which had just entered the heavenly flame not long ago, beginning to twist rapidly. One by one, they were scorched black by the heavenly flame and fell powerlessly from the snake's body. After the snake scales fell, bright red blood began to pour out. However, in the instant after this blood appeared, it was scorched into nothingness by the terrifying temperature of the heavenly flame. Finally, eye-piercing blood-colored patterns were created on the snake's body.
Sizzle! Sizzle! Standing on the small island, Xiao Yan could even hear the sizzling sound coming from within the heavenly flame. Because the blood was rapidly flowing out, the massive body of the purple snake also continuously shrank at a speed visible to the naked eye. One could imagine how much intense pain Queen Medusa was currently enduring, for such a proud and powerful great king to let out such a shrill and crazy scream. Under the burning of the heavenly flame, it was not just physical pain. Even the soul could not escape the burning of the heavenly flame. That kind of pain was truly a bit terrifying. Standing on a rock far away and staring fixedly at the cluster of flames, Xiao Yan's face was slightly pale. Queen Medusa's shrill scream, which could almost shake one's heart, truly shocked him. It had to be said that this woman was truly a bit stubborn and crazy. Because the disturbance created by Queen Medusa was too large, the shrill scream echoed through almost half the city. Immediately, countless experts of the Snake People tribe charged into the air like lightning, looking at the area where the purple light erupted with horrified expressions. A few people who intended to charge over were forcefully blocked outside by that ring of purple light. They could only stand outside, far away, watching the purple snake inside the green flame as it rose violently, worrying incessantly. In the sky, a streak of light rapidly charged toward the purple light. A moment later, it stopped outside the purple ring.
Has Queen Medusa begun to evolve?
Staring fixedly at the green flame in the distant temple, Yu-He spoke softly. His hands unconsciously clenched together as he said with a bitter smile,
Now, can we only wait for the final result?
Teacher, what should we do?
Turning his head to look at the figures all around who were alarmed and rushing over, Xiao Yan frowned slightly. He looked at the cluster of green flames that was almost twisting the space and asked in his heart,
Alas, what can be done? This green lotus core flame has been stimulated by Queen Medusa and has become berserk. Anything that gets close to its range will be burned into nothingness.
Yao Lao said helplessly. Hearing this, Xiao Yan's gaze swept beneath the green flame. He discovered that the place where the small pond full of ice spirit cold spring had been was now a black, empty hole. Looking at it, the hole was likely more than 10 meters deep. Furthermore, the bamboo forest around the heavenly flame had also turned to ash in an instant. A light breeze blew, causing a large area of the bamboo forest to become as flat as the ground. The destructive power is truly terrifying. Wiping a layer of sweat from his face and feeling the surrounding air grow hotter and hotter, Xiao Yan's body trembled slightly. He manifested the purple flame gauze on the outside of his body and quickly retreated several steps, only then feeling a bit better. Inside the green flame, Queen Medusa's shrill cry gradually became weak after lasting for about half an hour. At this time, perhaps because her strength was exhausted, the massive purple snake body had almost stopped struggling. The body that was originally covered in beautiful purple scales was now a charred black mess. The body that was dozens of meters long had been burned down to only 2 or 3 meters. It was hard to imagine exactly how much blood had been consumed by the burning of the heavenly flame. Outside the ring of light, more and more snake people stood around watching. They stared blankly at the rising purple fire. Then, at one moment, the shrill cry echoing through the city ceased. Suddenly, an atmosphere of sorrow enveloped the holiest city of the snake people tribe. Within the green flame, Queen Medusa's body lay still and motionless. The green lotus core flame continuously and freely burned her body. A faint smell of burnt flesh slowly drifted out.
She failed.
Outside the purple ring of light, the black-robed figure suddenly appeared next to Yu-He like a flash. Looking at Queen Medusa, who had lost all movement inside the heavenly flame, the figure sighed for some reason and became silent for a moment. Although her personality was similarly proud and cold, she understood the respect that should be given to an opponent with the kingly courage to let the heavenly flame burn her body for this kind of evolution.
Looking at the green flame, Gi-He also let out a soft breath. Did this Queen Medusa, who once caused headaches for the high-level experts of the Jama Empire, fall like this? It was truly a bit ironic. As Queen Medusa's scream died out, the entire city gradually fell into a deathly silent atmosphere. A moment later, gazes full of hatred shifted toward Gi-He and the black-robed figure in the sky. Ignoring the gazes of hatred, the black-robed figure stared indifferently at the green flame in the distance. In just a short moment, the black-robed figure suddenly frowned, looking up at the sky which had suddenly become much darker.
After a brief silence, a hint of gravity mixed into the cold voice.
Something is not right. What is it?
Hearing this, Yu-He's expression also became tense, and he hurriedly asked,
The energy of heaven and earth has suddenly become violent.
The black-robed figure said softly while looking at the sky. Seeing this, Gu-He also quickly raised his head and looked at the sky. Immediately, his expression changed. He saw that the originally deep blue sky had suddenly become much darker. Clusters of dark clouds appeared from nowhere, slowly covering the entire sky. The sudden change in the situation caused everyone to look at the anomaly in the sky with surprise and confusion.
Boom! A massive thunderclap suddenly erupted from the dark clouds. Silver lightning bolts danced wildly within them, like long silver snakes.
What is happening?
Sensing the violent energy contained within the dark clouds, Gi-He swallowed hard and asked with difficulty. The black-robed figure stared fixedly at the dark clouds in the sky and said in a heavy voice,
I once read an ancient book that recorded how some magical beasts from ancient legends, when born or advancing, would cause anomalies in the world because the energy in their bodies could not be regulated. However, the levels of these legendary magical beasts are extremely powerful. Some of them are among the strongest, even comparable to Dao Zeng or Dao Sheng level human experts. In the current Dao Qi continent, these legendary level magical beasts do not seem to be common. Seeing the current situation, it is most likely caused by Queen Medusa. You mean she successfully evolved?
Yu-He's pupils contracted slightly as he spoke with some shock.
I am not sure.
The black-robed figure shook her head and said softly,
Should we wait?
Gu. He frowned nervously and asked hesitantly,
We must wait a bit to see. Even if she successfully evolved, having been burned by the heavenly flame for so long, she must have lost a lot of energy. For this kind of finding a quiet place to heal her injuries is the wisest decision.
The black-robed figure shook her head slightly and spoke after some thought.
Then, that is fine. Look again.
Hearing this, Ji hesitated for a moment and then nodded. Just as he was about to raise his head, a massive thunderclap echoed from the dark clouds above. In that instant, the entire world seemed to brighten. A massive silver lightning bolt shot down from the clouds, finally piercing through the purple light and striking directly into the cluster of green flames. The lightning came fast and left even faster. Before the explosive sound of the thunder in everyone's ears could completely dissipate, the dark clouds in the sky began to rapidly retreat. In the next instant, hot sunlight once again covered the city. As the ringing in their ears gradually faded, countless people hurriedly turned their gazes toward the purple light. However, after that lightning bolt struck, a faint green mist began to escape from the small island, simultaneously obscuring everyone's vision.
The green mist was created by the collision between the previous lightning and the heavenly flame. Spiritual power cannot pass through it. The situation inside has been completely cut off.
Ji. He shook his head and spoke with a frown after sweeping his spiritual perception outside the purple light.
Wait for it to dissipate.
The black-robed figure said calmly. Ji nodded, but the Dao Qi in his body also gradually began to circulate, ready to retreat at any moment. When the lightning struck down from the sky, Zhao Yan was still hiding behind a giant rock. Unexpectedly, under the extremely strong impact of the lightning, that rock was shattered into powder. If Yao Lao had not taken action to help at the critical moment, Zhao Yan might have been killed on the spot by that force.
The lightning is truly terrifying.
Standing up from the ground, Xiao Yan stared blankly at the small island, unable to stop himself from sucking in a breath of cold air.
What is the situation inside?
Brushing the dust off his body, Xiao Yan looked at the thick green mist around him and frowned slightly. Then he slowly walked inward. As he slowly entered the center of the small island, the green flame in the sky once again appeared. However, the green flame had now returned to being as small as a fist, quietly floating in the air and continuously changing into various shapes. His gaze moved down from the heavenly flame. On the ground, the charred black body of a giant snake lay quietly without a sound. The body was cold. It was the purple snake from before.
Did she fail?
Looking at the severe injuries on the giant snake, its charred exterior appearing somewhat horrific, Xiao Yan sighed softly. Did a generation of Du Huang experts simply vanish like smoke and clouds?
Alas, let us collect the heavenly flame.
Shaking his head slightly, Xiao Yan gently stepped over the corpse of the giant snake and walked toward the heavenly flame. Just as he was about to ask Yao Lao how to do it, a faint friction sound suddenly echoed from behind him. Suddenly hearing the sound, Xiao Yan's body abruptly trembled. He slowly turned his head to look at the source of the sound, and his pupils suddenly contracted.